Hey there, this is Elizabeth, the teaching artist for the Timken Museum of Art with another art tutorial for you. Today we're going to be working with values. The first definition of value we're going to use is just how light or dark something is. It's a term in art. And the second is going to be what is important to you. What do you value? We are going to be covering a lot of bases today, but the core of the project is self-reflection, utilizing artistic elements to self-express. The picture you're seeing here is an example of what you'll be making. But before we get started, I need to make sure that you've got colored pencils, 3 sheets of paper, a pencil, and a ruler. All right, let's get started. First, I'm going to show you how to create a grayscale. Now, a grayscale is different values of gray between white and black. We are going to be creating a 5-step grayscale. It's also called a value band. So you will create 5 boxes and go ahead and number them 1 through 5. Then you're going to shade in each corresponding box darker than the previous one. Number 1 will be white and number 5 will be black. The values in between are medium light, medium, and medium dark. All right. Moving on. The next step in this project is I need you to trace around your hand 3 times. You will place your hands at different angles and make sure that only 2 hand tracings overlap at once. Please do not allow all 3 of your hand tracings to overlap. So you'll notice that I'm placing my hand. It's taking me a minute to figure out where to put it so I don't place it on top of the first hand I traced. Now, in order for the next part of the descriptions to make sense, I need to label the first hand number 1, the second hand number 2, and the third hand number 3. The numbers will tell you which hand I'm referring to. Next, referring back to that grayscale that you just made, I want you to shade in the first hand a number 5 value on your grayscale. Be careful only to shade in the number 5 of the hand where it's not overlapping the other hand. So anywhere that it's overlapping, please leave it blank for now. Then for the second hand, I want you to shade it in a number 3 value. Also, please don't shade in any of the overlapping parts yet. Only shade in the second hand with a number 3 value where it's not touching any of the other hands. The third hand is just going to be white, which is the number 1 value on the grayscale. Now, where the second hand and the third hand overlap, I want you to create a number 2 value from the grayscale. What I'm referring to now is only the overlapping parts. So anywhere where the number 3 hand overlaps the number 2 hand, you're going to create a number 2 value from the grayscale. You may need to darken some areas of the second hand or lighten some areas of the overlapping third hand. Now, moving over to the first and second hands, we're going to use the same process. Where the first and second hands overlap, you're going to create a number 4 value from the grayscale. So it's the same process, just a different value that you will be using for the overlapped areas. After you fill it in with the values, you are going to use the ruler and you're going to create 2 lines crossing through the entire paper to divide up the background. You can copy exactly what I did or just put 2 random lines that pass through the entire picture. Next, we're going to move on to the second definition of value. We're going to talk about what do you value, what's important to you. So on that second sheet of paper, you are going to make a list of what you value. This exercise of taking time to write down your thoughts helps to clear your mind and prepare you to make decisions, helps you to deal with stress, clarifies your emotions, helps you to take action, and gives you a record of your personal development. From this exercise, I now want you to edit out the words that are the most relevant to you. Which words really feel like you, how you feel, what you think, what you like to do. So this project is totally self-reflective. So you don't have to write out whole phrases. You can just isolate words that express what you think and feel. So for example, I've chosen family. I obviously chose art, love, friendship. My dog is one of my most favorite things in the entire world. And then I also added how much I love to mountain bike and how much I love nature. All of those words are then drawn throughout the background of your picture. All right, I just want to add one more artistic element to this project, and that is positive forms and negative space. Positive forms are the objects themselves. The negative space is the space around the object. So the black tree in this picture is the positive form, and the white background is the negative space. Now this next slide is a little tricky because depending on whether or not you focus on the white as the positive form and the black as the negative space, or the black as the positive form and the white as the negative space, you will see two different images. So as you can probably see by now, if you focus on the black as the positive form, you're going to see faces. If you focus on the white as the positive form, you're going to see a vase or an urn. Then moving forward on to apply this to our project, I want you to fill in all of the negative space behind the hands with patterns. You're going to create repeated shapes in different sections of this picture to create patterns to fill up the negative space. The benefit of creating patterns and doing repetition with shapes is that it's therapeutic. It relaxes the mind. It eases stress. It lessens anxiety. So you're using this art project to self-reflect and reduce stress and anxiety while at the same time learning elements of art. After you get the designs done in the background, then you get to add your color. I want you to add the color any way you want, depending on what your personality is like or maybe how you're feeling in this moment. You may decide to have some sort of order to the colors, some sort of pattern to the colors, or you may choose just to self-express and just let it all happen naturally and organically. That decision is totally and completely up to you. Here's what I came up with. I took the route of just self-expression. I tried to make my colors contrast a little bit so they didn't blend together and they popped a little bit. But again, this part is totally and completely up to you. This project is meant for you to self-express and explore and learn a little bit about the elements of the arts. Thank you so much for taking the time to be creative today. Please share with us what you've created, and be safe and be well.